very disturbing revelation coming from the finance minister talking about some nationwide payroll audits which has uncovered serious irregularities in Ghana's public sector salary system. These include over 14,000 workers whose employment cannot be verified and 53,307 individuals who are no longer in active service but still remain on the government payroll. Dr. KWESI Forson explained that the Ghana Audit Service commissioned by the Ministry of Finance has so far completed 91% of the comprehensive payroll audits across all 16 regions. Listen to Dr. KWESI Forson in that revelation.
As part of the fiscal consolidation strategy, we have taken measures to sanitize public sector payroll and rid it of ghost names. Subsequently, we engaged the Ghana Audit Service to undertake a nationwide payroll audit across all 16 regions of the country. The Speaker, the Audit Service has completed 91% of the payroll audit. So far, the Audit Service has not been able to identify or verify over 14,000 workers. Mr. Speaker, again, they have identified 53,311 separated staff on the payroll. Mr. Speaker, separated staffs are staff who are either on retirement, reassigned, terminated, or are on leave without pay or deceased and yet remain on government payroll. Mr. Speaker, the Audit Service expects to recover a minimum of 150.4 million of unearned salary from the separated staff over 2023 and 2024 period alone.
So that's a very serious revelation coming from the finance minister. The finance minister, Dr. KWESI Forson, says the Ghanaian cedi has stopped depreciating and is now showing signs of strength against major foreign currencies. According to Dr. KWESI Forson, the recent performance of the Ghana cedi, especially against the US dollar, is evidence that the government's fiscal measures are working. He emphasized that while challenges remain, there has been a significant slowdown in depreciation trends, with the local currency even appreciating slightly in recent weeks. The announcement comes as a relief for many Ghanaians who have endured months of price hikes and economic pressure due to previous cedi instability. Addressing Parliament as part of the media budget review presentation for the 2025 year, Dr. KWESI Forson noted that the cedi, which began a year at around 15 Ghana cedi to $1, has strengthened significantly to trade at approximately 10.45 Ghana cedis on the interbank market. He attributed this recovery to improved macroeconomic fundamentals, increased export inflows, and renewed investor confidence in Ghana's economy. Take a listen to the finance minister, Dr. KWESI Forson.
Right Honorable Speaker, let me state emphatically that these deliberate policies announced in the 2025 budget to stabilize the Ghana cedi are yielding massive results. The results we are witnessing are not by chance. They are the fruits of hard work, discipline, and intentional policies. Mr. Speaker, the cedi performance in the first half of the year 2025 has been impressive. The Ghana cedi experienced significant appreciation against all major trading currencies in the first 6 months of 2025. I'm happy to inform the House that our previous record, where the Ghana cedi used to trade against the US dollar at 17, is as at yesterday trading at 10.4. Mr. Speaker, similarly, the Ghana cedi, which was once trading at 21 cedis to the British pound, was trading at 14.1 as at yesterday, 23rd July 2025. Mr. Speaker, as at end June 2025, the cedi appreciated by 42.6% against the US dollar, 30.3%. This is a significant improvement over the cedi depreciation of 18.6%, 17.9%, and 16.0% against the US dollar, British pound, and the euro. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, so far, we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciation in 2022, 2023, and 2024. This level of appreciation has never happened in the history of our country. Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, fellow citizens, Ghana for Ghana Sidino Apeke.
Well, that's Dr. K. Selatoban Forson. Well, he also says the sharp decline in Ghana's inflation is not due to chance, but also a result of deliberate government's policy directions.
Consolidation drive aimed at reducing the fiscal deficit and borrowing. Mr. Speaker, we pledge to stabilize the exchange rate to reduce inflation on items that rely on the exchange rate for pricing, such as fuel, transportation, imported sugar, rice, and cooking oil. We pledge to implement policies that target items with large weight in the CPI basket, such as transportation and utilities, to reduce their prices. We also pledge to implement, through the Bank of Ghana, to implement an appropriate monetary policy stance and use its liquidity management interventions to support the disinflation process. And finally, Mr. Speaker, we pledge to implement agriculture for economic transformation agenda to reduce food inflation. Mr. Speaker, it is instructive to know that these intentional policies announced in the 2025 budget to tame inflation are yielding massive results. Inflation pressures have eased significantly. The drastic fall in inflation is not by chance or sheer luck, but as a result of hard work and deliberate government policies. Mr. Speaker, consumer price inflation has reduced from 23.8% in December 2024 to 13.7% in June 2025. This represents a massive 10.1 percentage point decline. Similarly, producer price inflation saw a sharp decline from 26.1% in 2024 to 5.9% in June 2025, representing a steep decline of 20.2 percentage points in just 6 months. So, Speaker, food inflation declined from 27.8% in December 2024 to 16.3% in June 2025, representing an encouraging 11.5 percentage point reduction. Non-food inflation also declined from 20.3% in December 2024 to 11.4% in June 2025, representing 8.9 percentage points reduction. Inflation for locally produced goods and services declined from 26.4% in December 2024 to 14% in June 2025. Right Honorable Speaker, inflation for imported items decreased from 18% in December 2024 to 12.5% in June 2025.
So you can also join the conversation with your WhatsApp message 0500,202. Let me go on the phone line and speak to Member of Parliament for Sanarigu constituency and also member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Honorable Taisa. Honorable, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time on 505. First of all, your takeaways from the budget presentation.
Okay, so good evening to you and your listeners. What I will say is that today has been an exciting day for every Ghanaian listening who took time to listen to the Finance Minister. It wasn't just the usual way of media review that we send. That is always characterized by adjustment in taxes and other structural reforms that always burden the Ghanaian person. So I'll begin like this. If you look at, first of all, I want to take the key takeaways program that will impact directly on the consumer or the average Ghanaian. You realize that there's some level of easing in terms of inflation. The consumer price inflation has steadily eased to about 13.7% year on year as compared to 2024 end year of 23.8%. What this means is that the combination of the fiscal shock therapy, that is the spending cuts, tax scrapping that we did in March 2025, and then the monetary policy tightening of 28% policy rate, is delivering tangible results. So, and the expectation is that if the disinflation trend continues, prices may stabilize further. In fact, the Minister of Finance gave an update on some tangible price reductions that can be felt in the market, and this will go a long way to ease the burden of everyday life and business input cost. When you also look at the business community, ease of doing business, one of the things that we always strive for in literature is that there must be that level of certainty in terms of your exchange market. So if you look at the stabilization of the CD and the Forex market, you realize that thanks to the measure like the regular supply of funds into the forex market, stricter forex controls, the gold board weekly gold purchases program that is currently ongoing, and improve in the Bank of Ghana reserves, the cedi has shown greater resilience this year as compared to many other currencies. In fact, currently the cedi is performing against the dollar by 42.8%. What this implies is that businesses and traders are reporting fewer surprises in the forex market. Also, the continued stability helps small traders relying on imports, especially those in the downstream petroleum sector. Now they can predict and protect local consumers. Now, Dr. Forson didn't also just talk about economic lexicons. He also delved more into the social safety nets things that we are seeing. If you look at the budget allocation that was done, we uncapped Get Fund and NHIS, free sanitary pass, leave increases, and educational support. These have all started translating into real benefit and tangibles to the Ghanaian public. If you go to the ground right now, you know that the disabled tertiary students are enjoying free tertiary education. You also see that more school girls has received sanitary pads for free. LEAP has expanded reach and benefit that boosts the vulnerable households. Then he announced the major big push program under the infrastructure and growth policies. Spending is now more targeted than usual because you remember that 2024 we had an accumulated arrears on non-commitment basis of 194 billion and on commitment basis of 67 billion. Right now what government is doing is that under the big push program we have listed 24 priority projects, and I'm sure you followed through. Yeah. And then the abandoned projects that was started by the MPP without a dedicated source of funding. And what we are doing basically is that under the big push, we are allocating 13.85 billion. And over the next 2 years, this one will seek to make sure that we boost and expand our road infrastructure. Certain capital-intensive, non-essential programs that have cut shifting investment towards productivity. And if you follow the statement today, he was highlighting three issues. One was the agriculture for economic transformation agenda, then the big push agenda, and then the 24-hour economic accelerated export development program. These are some of the things that the government is focusing on. However, despite all these successes that he talked about, there still exist several fiscal challenges and risks that at the country we shouldn't be too overjoyous. And he was quick to suggest and to opine that we must not be celebrating beyond our means. What we still do is that wages and salaries are still a threat in our fiscals. If you look at the estimate that he brought, in fact, if you look at the contribution to tax revenue to wages and salaries, it's over 70%, which is not sustainable. That is why we are doing payroll audit across the country. There still exists about 53 billion negative equity at the Bank of Ghana that we saw, and it still remains unsolved. Government arrears is also still high, about 67.5 billion. Right now, we've made payments of only 23.8 billion Ghana cedis as of June 2025. So this issue still poses some risks to the medium-term stability, especially the global economic pressures that we are seeing, the geopolitical tension in Iran versus Israel and Gaza, and also the supply chain disruption by Donald Trump. So basically for me, these are the key takeaways I want Ghanaians to see as of today, 24th July 2025. Prices of goods and services remain relatively lower, core inflation trending downwards, and the expectation is that by the end of the year, we should be getting a single-digit inflation. Currency is showing improved stability. Then that means that fewer wild swings in the exchange rate. You see that some level of instability will occur once in a while, but the expectation is that it will go downwards about. Yes, in fact, in social services, the idea is that the teaching health and aids are visibly improving, and we do not intend to tap in or cut any of the social spending. Business climate is good. We are providing SMEs and trading capital with modest relief in the forex market and tax burdens. That is why we are doing a complete reforms in the VAT regime. The public trust is already once due to the shock therapy that we are going through. The bottom line is that the immediate budget interventions are working. It's gradual. We are still experiencing lower inflation, more stable city, improved public services. However, systematic hurdles we still need about capitalization of ADB. NIB is fully capitalized and they are open for business. Yeah. The next step we are going to look at is that of ADB. So based on what we have heard today, I think that every Ghanaian would see that this is indeed a government that we voted for.
I see. Honorable, quick one on the COVID-19, which he said will be abolished. The VAT flat rate, which he also says that it will be removed. You on the finance committee, I'm sure that the question large number of Ghanaians will be asking is that when are we going to see that happening? Because you recall that during the main budget presentation, it was emphatic that some taxes have been abolished, but this one says that it will be abolished. When are we going to see that coming?
No, if you had followed the budget presentation that was done in March, what we did, or if you had gone to the appendices on page 474, the appendix suggested that in 2026 revenue projections for the year 2026, you see that COVID levy was supposed to get us 0 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
What it simply means is that implementation of COVID levy will not. And what he was saying today was that currently plans are far advanced in terms of restructuring the VAT regime. And the abolishment of the COVID levy will be announced in the 2026 budget in November this year. You know, budget for 2026 will be announced in November. So this November, when you listen to the budget that was presented by the finance minister, you see that COVID-19 levy will be abolished. So no person will pay for COVID levy from 2026 ongoing. I
see. Now, the VAT flat rates, the VAT regime that he talked about, I'm sure that what Mary will be asking, especially with the business community, the impact on them from now until probably the end of the year. What is the process as far as that VAT regime is also concerned for them to also enjoy at least some relief?
No, you see, there are other gains that we are getting from other places. For example, I've already said that lending rate are declined. Interest rate at the bank have dropped from 30.3% to that of 27%. T-bill rates are on downward trend. Bank of Ghana is also providing more forex liquidity into the market. Government through other policies are making the economic program is determined to supply financing to SMEs and many large-scale Ghanaian. These are some of the gains that businesses will take advantage of. However, we were very clear at the beginning of the year that COVID levy reforms of the VAT will take effect in 2026. So for the meantime, businesses have planned for over the last 7 months. So I think the next 5 months, those will still exist. But there are other benefits businesses can take advantage of in terms of tax rebates and tax reliefs and tax exemptions that we are currently pursuing at the Parliament of Ghana. So for me, it is a good news. It helps in planning. So now every businessman knows that the VAT regime is still going to be the same until next year, January, that it will take effect. So other exemption benefit or other relief packages that has been rolled out by the government will suggest that they will benefit from other sectors of the economy, not necessarily through the VAT regime.
Well, I'm sure that Ghanaians will say kudos to the finance minister, especially on the audit work being done. Over 14,000 workers unidentified.
Yes.
What's the way forward? One, perpetrators being brought to book. When is the Attorney General coming into the picture? Because we need to get some people down. Yes.
So currently you see that the work is still ongoing. In fact, in one of the audits, for example, the payroll audit, it is around 91%. So we still have about 9% ongoing. That is expected to be completed by August 2025. So the expectation is that the finance minister has given indication. First of all, this regime is not for custodial sentences naturally. When people spend money, people must be allowed to pay back with interest. So plea bargain is open for government. In fact, we are expected to receive almost 154 million Ghana cedis from this type of payroll infractions and ghost names. So for me, the idea is what is the way forward? As for the retrievers, but how do we make sure that we use artificial intelligence to curb some of these recurrence so that it doesn't happen again? So that is the broader picture I want to focus on. But it's a sad reality that an unemployment situation of 14.7% as at the end of 2024, you had many of such opportunities that are earning resources without contributing to any productivity, yet they are taking money whilst normal graduates are working on the streets without job. So this is just furthermore telling the deterioration of public trust in public delivery. So for me, this is an eye-opener, and I like the portion sounded people who validate. Because under the Give Me program, payment of salaries every month is validated. So if somebody is validating a ghost name such people must be interdicted and appropriate sanctions meted out, not necessarily the retrieval of the funds. Once you retrieve the funds and the same people are still in the system, they can always take advantage of it. And I like the idea of rotation of those staff. Sometimes when people become so familiar and comfortable at a certain point or a certain place, that is when they begin to commit all these criminal activities. So the quarterly or yearly rotation of staff at the Controller and Accountant General is also a positive sign that shows that the government really means business. But anybody who has spent money wrongly that do not belong to the person and it belongs to public, the person must be asked to pay and hence must rule in terms of those validating those claims.
Honorable, thank you so much for your time this evening. So that's the Member of Parliament for Sanarigu constituency and also the member on the Finance Committee of Parliament.